hopefully the meeting will not be interrupted by such unpleasantries today. Our first speaker is Mitsuru Soma. Mitsuru received his PhD in 1984 for analysis of lunar occultations. So he certainly has experience in occultations. He worked for the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan for 34 years, and though he retired 3 years ago, he still does research at the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. He has been IOTA's Vice President for Grazing Occultations since 1998, and he will speak about lunar grazing occultations. So Mitsuru, whenever you're ready.
Yes, can I share my slide?
Yes, you want to share your screen.
これじゃない。The host doesn't permit my share of my slide.
We want to make sure that the speaker has the ability to screen share, Ted.
Okay, yeah, please try again, Mitsuru.
Oh, okay. This one, yes. So, so can you see my slide?
We're seeing your slides in an array now. Yes, there we go.
Okay.
Yes, very good.
Okay. So I will talk about lunar grazing observations. And this is a list of grazes reported to me in 2021. And this is 2022, yes. And this is this year's list. And I will show the results of the grazes shown in red here, from Belgium and from Italy and Russia, and one more from Japan. So this is a report of graze of ZC2061 on 2022 January 25th. And this is Ishida's report. This graze was observed by two Japanese observers, and one is Ishida and the other is Yamamura. And this is Ishida's light curve. And the first disappearance is shown here. For about 1.2 seconds after the star disappeared, for about 1.2 seconds, faint star was seen, and two observers thought that it might be a new double star. But actually, it was the star's duplicity was found in 2014 through lunar occultations by Dave Gold and Dave Herold in Australia. And they showed the double star data as shown here, position angle 206 degrees and separation 0.2 arc seconds. And these data are given in the current Washington double star catalog. And this is the light curve obtained by Dave Gold in 2014. And so from the data shown here for the double star data, position angle and separation, and using the position data in Gaia DR3, the position in the Gaia DR3 is assumed to be the photocenter position. And so using those data, I analyzed the observation, and this is the result of the profile, reduction profile. And abscissa is axis angle, and ordinate is height above lunar mean limb. And as shown here, fainter component, the results from the fainter component is fairly good, but the results from the brighter component is not good or very bad. And that means the double star data are not good. So from these observations, I analyzed and obtained the positions of the primary and companion. And here is the results of the analysis. Corrections to the photocenter position in Gaia DR3 is delta alpha and delta here. And double star data, position angle and separation, the results are shown here. And the last line shows the results from 2014. So the separation becomes almost half, almost half compared to the result in 2014. So these are the results from the 2022 January graze. And another, oh, so sorry. And this is this is the reduction profile I showed just a minute ago. And this, using the new data I obtained, the reduction profile becomes this. So the results with the lunar limb profile are almost perfect. So these are the results of the January 25th to 2022 result grades. And another one is about ZC1049 grades on 2021 September 2nd, made in Belgium. And two observers observed this graze. The part of the results report is shown here. And they found that the star is a double star. And actually, this is a new double star. And this is a Goffin's light curve. And this is part of Bourgeois light curve. So these shows the star is double. And from their observations, I also analyzed the data and obtained the results shown here. The magnitudes are 7.29 and 7.78. Northern part star is brighter. And the corrections to the photocenter position in Gaia DR3 is shown here, delta alpha and delta delta. And double star data obtained is shown here. Position angle 118 degrees and separation is 0.037 arc seconds. And this is the third example of graze. It is ZC709 graze on 2021 September 27th, and it was observed in Italy and Russia. The stations were 2,290 kilometers apart, so the position angles of the central graze of them differ by about 7.3 degrees. And in Italy, two stations, from two stations, the observer observed and obtained 30 contacts for primary and 4 contacts for a companion. In Russia, from one station, 12 contacts for the primary was observed. And this binaries orbit is given in the 6th catalog of orbits of visual binary stars, and which gives separation 0.332 arc seconds and position angle 359.8 degrees at the time of the graze. And from the analysis, the data of the double star were found to be good. And from the graze observations, corrections to the photocenter position is obtained, shown in the last line. And this is the result of the reduction profile. So this is drawn using the newly derived positions. And so the left part is from Russia's observation and right part is from Italy. This shows for the results from Russia, and the left part is using the Gaia data, and right part is the result using the newly derived positions. So inside the green circles, you can see how the results are improved. This is for the Russia's data, and this is for the Italy's data. For example, the leftmost circle, green circle, the positions from the dot, red dot is from disappearance, and green dot is from reappearance. And the leftmost red and green dots are above the lunar limb. So, but in the right part, it is on the lunar limb. So as you can see, the results improved on the right part. So in summary, the 3 examples of the grays analyzed here show that the positions of the stars in Gaia DR3 can have significant errors. And all 3 stars showed here happen to be double, but our analyses show that positions of single stars can also have significant errors in Gaia DR3. So therefore, observations of lunar occultations are still valuable, not only to find and get a double star data, but also to analyze such positional errors. And at the first slide, I showed the list of grazes I obtained and since 2021. And this is the summary of the numbers according to countries. The Japan's observation is 32 grazes. So this is outrageous, or so many observations are reported from Japan, but outside Japan, very few results or grazes were reported. And and there should be many observers, for example, in the USA, but from USA, only one observations were reported during the past 2.5 years, and it was reported only yesterday. So I would like to recommend observations of grazes or lunar occultations. Please observe more lunar occultations. I would like to emphasize that point. So that's all of my talk. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Dr. Soma?
This is Kevin Hartnett from Maryland in the USA. Both myself and another IOTA member, Richard Kelly, got very good data from a grazing occultation of a 6.6 magnitude star in February of this year. Mm-hmm. And we're happy to share that data with you if there's a way to do that.
Yes.
I've also taken some other lunar occultation data, but I've had difficulty analyzing it in a way that I felt comfortable submitting a report. So there's two parts to my comment here. One is I'd be happy to get you the data from the February 23rd event, where we had 8 or 9 disappearances and reappearances. It was a very nice event. But second is a question, which program should I be using, PyMovie or LiMovie, to analyze lunar occultations? And if the answer is LiMovie, is there a video that's on our website someplace that can help me figure out how to do that and submit a report?
Sorry, I don't quite understand your question. You want to know how to submit your report?
Yeah, that question is not so much for you, I guess, but for the other members in the US of IOTA. The first part is just how can I get you our data on the February 23rd event, which I'm happy to share.
Okay.
But the second part is really, I have other lunar observations that I've recorded, and I've done that because the occult website, or the occult program, says that these lunar occultations are highly desired because they're multiple star systems. And yet I'm not confident that I know how to reduce them and submit a report. So I'd like to either forward the data to someone who knows how to do it, or watch a video and have somebody mentor me to help me know how to do that. And those are the things that are keeping me from submitting more lunar occultations to IOTA. So I welcome any comments.
Kevin, what is your challenge with reducing the time from the data? have you loaded up the data in
Yeah, so
Y-movie or PyMovie, and have you generated times? Or are you having trouble figuring out the times for disappearance and reappearance? Or
it just seems like that there's additional features within LimeMovie that take into account aspects of a lunar occultation with double stars that aren't described in PyMovie, which of course I use for the asteroid occultations that I submit. There's, and I haven't done it recently, so forgive me, but there's some sort of feature within LimeMovie that takes you to a next step to, somehow get a better interpolation of a double star DNR time. And I'm vague on this because it's been too many months.
Kevin, I'd just like to clarify for the group. You really are talking about PIOT, between LimeMovie and PIOT. PyMovie actually reduces the star brightness to data points, and then PIOT analyzes the disappearance times. And PIOT can do lunar occultations, but it's not optimized for it like LimeMovie is. If I were going to do a sequence of grazes, I'd probably use LimeMovie, even though I know how to use PIOT. But because LimeMovie, as you can see by Dr. Soma's graphics, is optimized for both single and double star occultations.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification. Good clarification on the name of those programs. But is there a tutorial like there are for PyMovie and PIOT, of how to use them? Is there such a thing for LimeMovie, particularly how to process data and submit a report for a double star?
Well,
this is
I'll chime in again. This is Tony George. I think Derek Bright is still the North American lunar coordinator, lunar occultation coordinator. And I know in the past when I've submitted occultations after some time, like it's a very complex process and very confusing. And he'll walk you through it step by step if you need to.
Yeah, you know, I want to say it was 1.5 years ago when I did look up Derek and have him try to do that. We exchanged emails, and he gave me some PowerPoints with, you know, things, you know, arrows on it, and, you know, do this and do that. Maybe I just ought to try to reconnect with him and do a Zoom session with him if he's open to that, because I just wasn't feeling like I really understood what he was asking me to do just with the exchange of emails and texts. It's really not the best way to communicate. I offered to send him our data, or any of my data, you know, just the video recordings of lunar events that were flagged as valuable because they contain possible double stars. But I never heard back that he wanted to do those himself. I don't know if there's somebody else out there that knows how to do it and would like to do it. But I have some recordings, and you know, the data's just sitting there because I don't know quite how to process it, and I can't find somebody else that's interested enough to do it.
Yeah, Steve Messner just pointed out that Brad Timerson made some YouTube videos talking about the process. So you might try to look those up first. You know, there's a YouTube section on the, you know, that he set up a whole bunch of different tutorials. So that would be something to look at.
Okay, those are reasonably old at this point, right?
Yes, they are. They don't have the latest of Coyote and
So is Lime.
Movie, of
I
course.
mean, Lime Movie's old too, so they will correspond to Lime Movie's age.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lime Movie hasn't changed that much, Kevin, in the years, so should still be valid.
Okay. Well, I remember looking at those a long time ago. Maybe I should look at those again and try again to get hold of Derek and if I have questions, but yeah, I wasn't confident that I was going to submit good data and I didn't want to submit that bad data. So thanks for pointing me to those. I'll look them up again on the IOTA site and I'll go from there. But meanwhile, I don't know how to get my Graze data to the speaker, but maybe somebody can help me with that. Send me an email or something.
After you get the timings, please report them to me. So thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
just use
but-
Occult's reporting feature for grazing occultations or lunar occultations, and you can create the reports with that, then create a DAT file of the observations that you can send to Mitsuru that has all the details that he needs then.
Okay, and where do I find your email or?
Mitsuru's email is given in the JOAs. Look in the last page of any JOA issue, and it's all it is mitsuru.soma@gmail.com. As I remember, it's pretty close to that.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mitsuru, thank you very much for a fine presentation. And it sounds to me as though some observers have been successfully stimulated to make more lunar graze observations. And I appreciate your helping them with that.
Roger, before we go on,
Okay.
I would just like another comment or question. Mitsuru is posed that in addition to double stars, that single star grazing occultations would be helpful to further establish the astrometry of the star for the Gaia catalog. And my guess is that would be for stars that have high RUWE values. And if that's the case, maybe somebody could put together a list like we have with Occult Watcher of those stars that need to be targeted, maybe that have, they're not necessarily double stars, but have high RUWE values and need to be researched for better astrometry.
Yes, yeah, that would be something useful to include the RUWE and in the Graze predictions. It's something for another change to Occult. For grazes, we usually only observe pretty bright stars, and almost all of them have astrometric challenges for Gaia because they're too bright for the system, optimized for 18th magnitude stars or so. So when you look at the RUW for many of those stars, many of them are already pretty high. Or have duplicate source flag issues too. So,
Dave, Harold, do you have a comment?
Yes, in terms of reporting the grazes, Occult has a module under, it's the Lunar Observations for creating reports, and that module includes, in the report, it includes Mitsuru's address, which is a gmail.com address. I hope that's correct, Mitsuru. If you create the report in Occult, then you can email it directly from Occult to Mitsuru. And that report, there's a fairly comprehensive help file topic in the report to help you fill that out.
Thank you for that information. We need to go on at this point.